All right, today's going to look a lot like yesterday, only we're going to ramp it up just a little bit. So, for the warm-up, go ahead and find that GCF of both of those monomials. I guess number 1 is 2 monomials, number 2 is factoring, just like we did yesterday. Is a typo. There should be a 28x in that one. So I will rewrite that for you. All right, so for this first one, 9yz, 21xy squared z. We have common factors that are 1 and 3, but the greatest common factor will be 3. So that's part of my GCF here. The greatest common factor is 3. And then I see that there's a y in both of them, and there's a z in both of them. So 3yz is my greatest common factor. Number 2, we wanted to factor this one. So we find the greatest common factor of all 3 parts. Once again, there should be minus 28x. Hopefully it's fixed when you're looking at this. So when we factor them all, we get 1 as common factors, and we get 7 as a common factor. So the greatest common factor will be 7 for our problem here. Notice we have 2 x's, 1 x's, and no x's, so we can't add any x's since there's not at least 1 x in all 3 of them. So then when I have my trinomial here, I want to factor out that greatest common factor, so we're just going to divide everything here by 7. So 7 divided by 7 is just 1, so 1x squared. 28 divided by 7 is going to be 4. We'll keep that x there. And 49 divided by 7 is 7. So my answer for factoring this is 7x squared minus 4x plus 7. All right, today we are going to do the same thing, only you'll see some other stuff besides just numbers as our GCF when we're doing this. So, factor by finding the GCF. So once again, we want to write out what we have here for each of these. X cubed, 6x squared, and 2x. Okay, what makes up each one? Well, this one's just going to be x, x, and x. 6x squared will be 1, 2, 3, and 6 as factors, and then an x and an x. And then 2x is just 1 and 2, and an x. So what do we have for common factors? So we have, well, I actually should probably put a 1 here, because 1x cubed, right? So we do have a common factor of a 1 here. So my GCF will be 1. But if we don't include the 1, that's fine too, as we're doing this. And then we can look and I see an x here, an x here, and an x here. So our GCF is actually going to be x, or 1x, as far as that goes. Notice we don't have more common x's, right? There's no more x's, so we can't include another x, as far as that goes. So when we factor this time we're going to have, so we have x cubed plus 6x squared plus 2x, and this time our GCF is going to be x, so we're going to take out an x from each thing. So x cubed divided by x to the first, remember there we subtract exponents, so we get x squared there. So we're basically just getting rid of an x. Remember, we're undistributing, taking something out. So x squared. The next one here, 6 divided by 1 is 6. X squared divided by x is just an x. And then also here, 2x divided by 1x is just going to be 2. We're basically taking an x out of each of these. So notice how the exponents are 3, 2, and then 1. So then our exponents are 2, 1, and then 0. There is no x there. And that would be my answer. So for this, we would just want to make sure that we take out an x from each one, kind of undistribute it. All right, let's look at the next one here. Go ahead and try it on your own if you need to, and pause the video. If you are getting to the point where you don't need to do the GCF each time, great. If you think you can just pull it out right away, that's great. But if you do need it, it's here for you to use it. Use those steps. All right, when I am doing this one, I'm going to try doing it without listing all of the factors here. So I see in each of these monomials that each of them are even, so I can divide by 2. So I'm going to take out a 2, and then I see that there is also in x, at least one x in each of them, right? X to the first, x to the second, x to the third, x to the fourth. So let's also take out an x. All right, so when I do this now, I need to undistribute a 2x from both of them. So I take a look at this first part right here. Okay, 2x, 2 divided by 2 is going to give me 1. And x to the fourth divided by x is going to give me x cubed. So remember, that's over here. We subtract those exponents. So 4 minus 1 equals 3. All right, looking at the next part here. So 2x cubed. So we want to do 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives us 1, positive 1. And then x cubed divided by x gives us x squared. Next part, we want to look at this one. Okay, remember, we're undistributing here. So a negative 8 divided by 2 gives us a negative 4. And then x squared divided by x gives us 1x. And then the last part, undistribute this negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2 gives me negative 2. And then x divided by x, those guys cancel it out, so that's my answer. Okay. If you like doing this, we'll also do it in box form a little bit. So in the next couple days, you'll see it more looking like this. So if this helps to kind of organize your work, feel free to do it, right? We know our greatest common factor is 2x. So we do 2x4, 2x cubed, excuse me. So 2x4, 2x cubed, negative 8x squared, and negative 4x. So what do we multiply? 2 times what equals 2x to the fourth? 1. X times what equals x to the fourth? X cubed. Okay. 2 times what equals 2? 1. X times what equals x cubed? X squared. Okay. So 2x times what equals negative 8x squared? 2 times what equals negative 8? Negative 4. And then x times what equals x squared? X. 2 times what equals negative 4? Negative 2. X times what equals x? Nothing. So then this is my answer. I'll just add a plus sign in there. So minus signs there. So same thing, same difference. If that helps you visualize it a little bit more, great. Once again, we'll be working on these boxes a lot in the next few days. All right, last problem. Go ahead, try it on your own. See if you can get the correct answer. Pause the video and come back to it. All right, so you'll see I kind of did this one using the box as well. Whatever way works for you, great. So we have our 10x squared minus 20x to the fourth plus 35x x to the sixth. We take out our greatest common factor, which is 5x squared, right? Both of these, all three of these are divisible by 5. And x squared, x to the fourth, x to the sixth. So the smallest amount of x's we have are 2. So when I take that out, so 5x squared times what? Okay, 5 times what gives me 10? 2. X squared times what gives me x squared? Oh, well, I already have enough x's, so nothing there. 5 times what gives me negative 20? Negative 4. And then x squared times how many x's do I need to get to 4, to add to 4? Oh, that's 2 more x's. And then here, 5 times what gives me 35? 7. And x squared times what? How many more x's do I need to get to add up to 6? I need 4, so x to the fourth. So your answer is 2 minus 4x squared plus 5x to the fourth. But we would really prefer you writing it in order of descending x's. So here I have the most x's. Here, which is x to the fourth, obviously. Here I have x squared, which is the second amount of x's, second highest. And here's no x's. If you did something like this on the test, we went back and we checked it. But we don't always check for this on an LT check. So you might get it wrong on an LT check if you write it like that. Whereas here, you know you're going to get it right if you write it in the correct order. But like I said, we do check for this on the test that you take since those are summative. All right, that's all it is today. It's just kind of now, instead of a greatest common factor of just a number, we have a greatest common factor that's going to be a variable as well. So just a little bit extra work there. But otherwise, it works out the same. So try the LT check. Good luck.